What happens when love crosses cultures? A Nigerian woman marries a Scottish man, or a Ghanaian man marries an American or British woman, and both of them bring entirely different worlds into one marriage. You know, marriage is a good thing and love is beautiful, but love does not erase cultural programming, family expectations, or the weight of identity. So before you say I do across continents or across cultures, you need to ask yourself, are we truly ready for what comes with it? Hi, my name is Taiye, a marriage coach passionate about helping couples build lasting marriages. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I am talking about a topic that has become increasingly common: interracial and intercultural marriages. The beauty, the battles, and what you must consider before you walk down that aisle if you are in an interracial relationship. In recent years, you will agree with me, or you probably have noticed that there's been a clear increase in interracial and intercultural marriages. You have many Africans, Asians, and, people of other cultures who are studying or working in Europe and the North Americas, and they are meeting, they are falling in love, they are settling down with partners from different nationalities and different cultural backgrounds. Now, watching the wedding videos online, they are quite heartwarming, especially when you see foreigners excitedly embracing Africa's rich culture and traditional wedding ceremonies. There's a thing about wanting to attend a Nigeria wedding that's almost like a trend now. It's a beautiful thing, and it shows how open and global our world has become. But while the ceremonies are beautiful and fulfilling to see, sustaining the marriages that they birth long-term requires more than a beautiful ceremony. It requires intentional work, understanding, and humility. So, what should a couple consider before they commit to an interracial marriage? Here are a few questions and realities that you need to weigh deeply before you take that step. The first is cultural conditioning. Know that every culture teaches you something about gender roles, about family, about money, about children, about religion. Now, in many African cultures, for instance, marriage is still a family affair, with extended family members playing significant roles in their married children's lives. In contrast, Western culture emphasizes individualism and personal autonomy. Now, this can create friction for the couple when one party wants an us, our dog and children marriage, and the other party still wants to share significant moments with the extended family. It's important to be aware of this and discuss early, otherwise it will become a major conflict area later. Number 2 thing to be aware of is faith and values alignment. What do you both believe about God, about family, about fidelity, and about purpose? For many African families, there's a strong belief in God. They pray, they go to church or mosque regularly. On the other hand, Western cultures are liberal in worldview, and many are not religious. Asians and Indians are religious, but religious differences exist. Now, if your core values differ, love will not be enough to sustain your relationship. It may be easier in the early years, but as you grow and start to raise children, these things start to stick out like a sore thumb. You can be from different races, but you can't afford to be unequally yoked in values. Number 3 thing to consider deeply is extended family biases. Are you ready for different in-law dynamics? Some families will embrace you warmly. Others may struggle with bias or stereotypes. And so it's important that you are prepared and that you know how to navigate both the love and the prejudice, sometimes in the same breath. Number 4 thing you want to ask or consider is the fact that location matters. Where you will live will affect how you're perceived and how your children will also be treated. Also ask yourself, what happens if one partner wants to move back home or to settle permanently in their home of origin? An interracial couple living in Lagos will have a very different experience from one that lives in London or Texas. And so it's important to consider the cultural adjustments that will need to be made. Consider the often tedious journey of making new connections and social inclusion. Now, all these factors become real life stressors and they put significant strain on your relationship. So consider it beforehand. Number 5 is communication style. You have direct versus indirect. You have emotional, you have logical, because communication is also affected across cultures. Now, one person sees as honest, the other may see as rude. One calls respectful, the other may see as silence or timidity or passivity. The other may also interpret it as withdrawal. You must learn each other's languages beyond words. Learn intent, learn emotional meaning. Now, what are some potential deal breakers to confront early? Now, while most challenges in interracial marriages can be overcome with intentionality, with effort, with communication, some issues may indicate fundamental incompatibility, if not resolved. Now, be aware of significant unresolved value-related conflicts. Now, when core values about family, about gender roles or parenting cannot be reconciled, despite several open discussions, it is an issue to not sweep under the carpet. Another thing you want to think about or pay attention to is if there exists inability to support each other against discrimination. For instance, if one partner consistently fails to defend or understand the other person's experience with prejudice or is outrightly dismissive about it, it's an area for concern. But another thing you want to be concerned about is substantial family opposition without boundaries, where family is disapproving and the disapproval is severe, or your partner is not willing to set boundaries to protect your relationship. It's an area of concern. Then another area of concern is unwillingness to engage in cultural learning. If one person is showing persistent disinterest or disrespect towards the other person's cultural background, it's an area of concern. Another area of concern is irreconcilable future visions. When partners cannot agree on fundamental life decisions like where to live, where to have children, or what values to instill in your children, these differences that I've listed are not manageable and they should not be managed. Now, if your partner or their family refuses to accept your identity or your faith, if you constantly feel unsafe, disrespected, or you feel erased. Now, if your love is coming at the cost of your dignity and peace, I say it is not worth it. It is better to walk away before the wedding day than to be crying after the vows. So, what you should look at, or what should you look out before saying I do? Observe family reactions and observe them early. Do they truly accept you or are they merely tolerating you? Also discuss where you are going to live in the long term. Don't assume that it will play out or you figure it out as you go along. Be very honest about your expectations, household chores, finances, parenting, religion. All these can mean different things across cultures. Talk about raising children. Which faith, which language, which traditions? Very important to have that conversation. It's also very important to address racial issues openly. Don't pretend that color doesn't matter. It shouldn't, but it still does. Racism still exists, sadly. So it's very important that you have those conversations. Not as a divider, but as a layer of experience that will shape your reality. Okay, so what if you're already in an interracial marriage? What to do when conflicts arise, and they will, trust me. It's important that you don't retreat into my culture versus your culture dynamic. Instead, create a new family culture. Ask yourself, what does respect look like to us? What does love look like in our home, or what do we want it to look like? Also be curious and open-minded. Don't become defensive. Ask your spouse, why do they do things in a particular or a certain way? Learn to practice empathy. Learn to see life through the lenses of your spouse. Also set healthy boundaries with extended family. You might also want to find a support group. Interracial couples need community, people who will understand your unique dynamics. And if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, seek professional help, because there is strength in asking for guidance. And I always say, ask for it early so that you will avoid resentment building up over time. Trust me, interracial marriage is not for the faint-hearted. It requires emotional intelligence, maturity, grace, and sometimes lots of guidance. They can be breathtakingly beautiful journeys, full of learning, full of laughter, full of love, and moments where you are creating legacy. But interracial marriages demand awareness, humility, maturity. Your love might start the journey and your story, but flexibility and understanding are what will keep your love alive and your relationship healthy. If you are dating across cultures or thinking about marriage across cultures, don't walk this road alone. Sign up for one-on-one relationship counseling with me, or you can also get my online course, Pathway to Forever. It is a course that is designed to help you build a strong foundation rooted in clarity, values, and emotional intelligence. And so whether your partner is from your tribe or across the ocean, it's important that you invest in the future of your relationship, because love deserves direction, not just emotions. Again, I am Taiye, and this has been another honest conversation on Transformation Timeout with Taiye. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye-bye, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.